Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us around the 20th of November. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Have a look at CFSV2 as always. The next 4 weeks that take us into the early part of December. The ECMWF 30-day look ahead for the UK and the rest of Europe as well has been released. So check that one out and see what's going on with the ECMWF 30-dayer when you're done with this video. Right, so I want to start with QBO now. We normally only look at this like in the winter updates, but it's starting to get a little bit interesting with the Quasi-Bienniel-Oscillation. Remember if you saw Sunday's 10th Winter 2021 update part 1, you'll know that I basically called a westerly QBO for the winter, certainly the early part of the winter. I still think we will have a westerly QBO into the early part of winter, but we may now be starting to see just a few indications of an easterly QBO possibly starting to return. So you know, have the failure of the easterly QBO like a few months ago back in the summer. We should have gone into an easterly QBO. We should now be like in a mature, strong easterly QBO phase. What we actually have at the moment is like a proper westerly QBO within the troposphere. But could be signs of the easterly QBO appearance. So I just want to start off with that, and then we'll have a look at like the regular 10 to 14 day stuff. So this is from NASA. This is from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So this is interesting. Current QBO condition. QBO is in east descending phase. So this is like the easterly QBO just here on this side of there. That's like the westerly QBO just there. And this is like the troposphere just here. So that's like 30 to 50 HPA. So that's the boundary level of the atmosphere where we've got troposphere. So at the moment, this is the westerly QBO here. So at the moment, within the troposphere, yes, we have got westerly QBO in westerly QBO phase. This is like the easterly QBO just here at the top of the stratosphere at 10 HPA. But what's going on at the moment is that this is beginning to descend down perhaps into lower levels. You'll notice this blue dot just here is starting to be pulled quite close to like QBO neutral, which is there. And if the blue dot makes it over to here, that will like be the a troposphere going into the easterly QBO phase. Now we're not near that yet, but it could be that we're starting to see the easterly QBO beginning to descend perhaps from the stratosphere. So this is a chart you're familiar with. So we show this every week in the winter update. So we've got the westerly QBO phases just here. We've got these sandy brown colours, and we've got the easterly QBO just here, where we've got the green and a blue colour. So this should be the next phase of easy QBO, descending down through the atmosphere, from the stratosphere into the troposphere, and then lower. So right now, right at the end of 2020, we should have a big green-blue area through here, which starts at the top of the stratosphere, of course, such as we had over here when we had our last easy QBO phase from 2017 to 2018. So what we've actually got, of course, is the westerly QBO lingering on in the troposphere. That's the westerly QBO just there. That's the last phase westerly QBO just there. Easterly QBO should have descended. It didn't. The westerly QBO sort of hung on, and then through the summer into the autumn has re-strengthened. But we have got the easterly QBO still lurking at the top of the atmosphere and stratosphere. It's never truly gone away, except maybe for there, I suppose. But the easterly QBO is still there at the top of the atmosphere in the stratosphere. And is that starting to descend? That's the question. Let's zoom in. Is the easterly QBO beginning to descend from the stratosphere? That's how it looks zoomed in. So you can see that, like, the easterly QBO at the top of the stratosphere just there looks like it's being pushed down a little bit, doesn't it? And at the same time, it looks like the westerly QBO is starting to get just a little bit more raggedy through here. You know, it's not as clear a westerly QBO signal as it has been. So very gradually, this westerly QBO may be starting to weaken as the easterly QBO possibly is beginning to descend. You can see down here that the westerly QBO is beginning to move down in sort of the lower reaches, the very lowest reaches of the atmosphere. When that happens, generally it's a sign that the next QBO phase is beginning to push down from the stratosphere. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I certainly think we're going to start off this winter still with the westerly QBO, because there's too much west QBO there, you know, in the troposphere for it to go very suddenly. So for the start of this winter, we'll still be in a westerly QBO. But it'll be interesting to see whether this easterly QBO descends a little bit quicker than normal, given we should be in an easterly QBO, as I say, at the moment. It's very, very confusing what's going on with the QBO. It has been all the way through this year, since the spring, when the easterly QBO phase started to fail. So we just have to keep an eye on it, but it's going to make it difficult for the winter updates, because we are going to do some QBO analogs, and I was thinking we'd probably look at just straightforward, you know, westerly QBO winters, but now wondering whether we should look at that, and also west to east trending, you know, west to east trending QBO winters as well, or transitioning winters that have a transition from a west to an east QBO. I'm not sure, but I mean, we won't be doing that for like another week or two, so we've still got time to see what's happening, what happens here at the top of the stratosphere. But anyway, I thought we'd start off that. I thought you might find it a little bit interesting, something a bit different to start off a weekly, daily video. We don't normally look at things like the QBO, except like in winter updates, and of course GavsWeatherVids sending round up when we bring that back in the new year. But I thought we'd do something a little bit different, and let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think the easterly QBO is beginning to descend from the stratosphere? Is the easterly QBO beginning to descend down from the stratosphere, or is this a false storm, and will the westerly QBO continue? Let me know what you think in the comments. Right, let's get on with the regular sort of part of the video. So we're going to have a look at the tropics, of course. So we've got three areas of interest. We've got tropical storm Eta just here. We've got a disturbance area just there, and we've got Theta. Look at this, tropical storm Theta has formed as well. Wow, what a season still. And I think this now makes this hurricane season, tropical storm / hurricane season, like the biggest on record. I think Theta will mean that we have had more tropical storms this season than we had in the previous record-breaking season, which was in 2019. So for named, you know, tropical storms, this is the biggest season on record, I think. So what do we do with these? Let's start off with the yellow extras here. So that is disturbance 1. It's got a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, but a 70% chance, a high chance of becoming a tropical storm or cyclone in the next 5 days. They're saying that the National Hurricane Center, a tropical wave located over the eastern Caribbean Sea, is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The wave is expected to move westward into more conducive environmental conditions over the next several days, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this week or this weekend when the wave reaches the central western Caribbean Sea. That's likely to be a named storm. Let's see what's going to happen with Theta, or what's going on with Theta. So sub-tropical storm Theta is giving maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 998 millibars, moving eastwards at 12 miles per hour. Clicking on Theta and going up to here. No, we don't have to go there. Actually, we go back, don't we? So this is going to be a tropical storm moving towards Africa. So this is quite unusual. Normally these systems will go like in that direction. They'll normally go like east to west through the tropics and that. But this is going to go west to east. I suppose perhaps because it's that little bit further northwards. But it's going to go from west to east as a tropical storm. And it's going to head towards the Canary Islands, actually, by the look of it. Quite close to the Canary Islands as a tropical storm. That's got to be very unusual. I wouldn't think the Canary Islands get tropical storms all that often. So that's quite interesting. Keep a very close eye on that, because that'll eventually finish up around Spain, perhaps. Might finish up around Spain or Portugal, somewhere like that. We'll have to see. It'll probably be subtropical by then. But yeah, that's quite unusual. That's only been a very, very strange season, this. And then, of course, we've got ETA, just here, ETA or ETA, I'm not sure. But there it is just there. Let's click on that one. Well, let's show what it's doing. So, again, maximum sustained winds are 60 miles per hour with a minimum set pressure of 992 millibars. And it's moving southwards at 5 miles per hour. Let's click on this one and see what's going to happen. So, now we have to go here, of course. So this was being forecast to return to hurricane status in the Gulf of Mexico. Now it is not. It is not forecast to become a hurricane again. It's forecast to remain as a tropical storm. And although it's currently moving south at the moment, it's going to start moving northwards, due north through the Gulf of Mexico, and arriving onto the Gulf Coast as either a tropical storm or a tropical depression. Somewhere, again, this has been like the hit area this season, I think, somewhere between Louisiana and Alabama or Georgia on that sort of coast, and with a central hit on Alabama as a tropical storm or tropical depression. So, but of course, that might power up again. You know, it's being forecast to remain tropical storm / tropical depression, but it could get to hurricane status as it moves due north through the Gulf of Mexico and possibly picks up energy. So it will be one to watch. It's all going on still. We're right at the very end of this hurricane season, and still it goes on. And as it's been such a big season, I wouldn't totally rule out the chance that we might still be getting storms and or hurricanes, even in early December this year. A lot of these really big seasons, like 2005, did that, or do that. So this is comparable to those sort of very, very biggest seasons, certainly for like storm names and the number of systems that we've got. If not for accumulated cyclone energy. So I won't completely rule out that even in December we might be getting storms or possibly even hurricanes. We'll have to see. Right, coming back to home, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Let's go to weeks. We're at Luton today, so the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Luton. We're starting off very close to average at the moment. Going to stay generally on the milder than average side through the next week. Generally, the next couple of weeks actually are forecast to be generally quite mild. You know, the upper air temperatures look like they're trending generally on the on the plus side through the next couple of weeks. There is more scatter later on, so we have got these colder outlier members just here, but there's an equal number of warm outlier members just here. What I would say, though, is that I think we're seeing an increasing trend, perhaps towards higher pressure into the second half of November. So you see these rainfall spikes, that's going to be more precipitation and rain coming up like through the end of the week, into weekend, into the early part of next week. Beyond that, though, there is definitely a drying trend appearing there from around, let's say, the sort of turn of the month, turn of the middle part of the month, so from around the 17th, 18th of November onwards into the last week of November. There is definitely a drying trend there, becoming drier, so increasingly anticyclonic signals, perhaps, and so it could be that, you know, these upper air temperatures are a little bit misleading, showing very mild conditions, because under high pressure in late November, we have to watch what's happening on the surface, really, more than the upper air temperature. So although the surface may say mild, the upper air temperature may say mild, the surface might actually be quite cold. Just depends on the exact nature of the high pressure and its position. Right, we've got loads of refresh of tabs going on, so I'm going to pause there and I'll refresh tabs and then we won't have to worry about that as we go through the video. Right, tabs nicely refreshed. Here we go again then. Temperature anomalies on the 10th to the 18th of November are going to be milder than average of a mild week coming up. Precipitation anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of November, a bit wetter than average in the north and west, and drier than average for England and the Wales too. This is the latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net, showing that we've got southerly winds at the moment, and so that is the reason that it remains mild. Low pressure is out to our west, and this low pressure will be progressing in with time. So this is how the UK Met Office is looking for Friday. Deep low pressure to northwest Scotland, bringing wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic. This is theta down here, I think, by the way. That's theta just there. So there we go. But for us, we're not concerned about theta at that point. So low pressure west of Scotland, bringing in wind and rain, but also mild southwesterly winds. Now, as we move into Saturday and on into Sunday, you'll notice that theta just remains stalled around here, so never really making it to Africa or Spain or Portugal, just remains stalled in the middle of the Atlantic. Again, for us, low pressure is just rolling in above the Atlantic, being wet and windy conditions. Let's have a look as we get to the end of the UK Met run, which is for Monday, the 16th of November. Wet, windy, and mild weather goes on. GFS 6Z looks like that again. Low pressure's rattling in off the Atlantic as we go to the end of the week, so there will be spells of rain, but at least it will be mild. Into the weekend, I know that saying drives so many of you absolutely crazy, but I'd like to do a little homage to the BBC sometimes. So yes, it's wet and windy. At least it will be mild. Right, into Monday, and well, we're building up a little bit of pressure to the south. For the north and the west, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain. Winds are still from the southwest, so it still remains very mild. That's Tuesday, again drawing up like a long fetch southwest wind week today, so again looking mild across most parts of the country. Bit of a change by Wednesday next week. High pressure is beginning to develop close to the UK, and it begins to turn cooler or colder as well. By the time you get through to Thursday 19th November, we're under a large 1040 millibar area of high pressure, so becoming drier, but at the same time, it could start to become colder with frost and fog as well. That high pressure is still there on Friday at day 10. Moving to more extended range, your low pressure will slip southwards a little bit, and high pressure begins to slip southwards a little bit, I should say. Low pressure returns back in from off the Atlantic, more wind and rain piling in from the west, and remaining unsettled to the very end of a GFS run. But all the time, winds remain from a westerly direction, so it's likely to be mild. GM looks like that. Again, we're going to have more wind and rain at the end of the week and into the weekend as well, and maybe the weather gets stuck through the country, bringing pulses of rain as well. We'll have to firm up more detail on that. Into next week, again, early part of next week, looking mild, wet and windy across most parts of the country. And then head up towards day 10. We've got high pressure just to our southwest, low pressure is to our north, and yes, we're still bringing in wind from off the Atlantic. Perhaps a little bit cooler by then. The ECM WF looks like this. So once more, wet, windy and mild weather through the end of the week and into the weekend with spells of rain coming and going. It will be mild. Early next week, we're drawing up a long fetch southwesterly with the air coming from the Canary Islands or somewhere like that. So very mild through most of next week, actually. Just by day 10, perhaps turning a little bit cooler from the northwest. But it's still Atlantic driven. And even up to then, it is still pretty mild. This is a rainfall forecast based on the ECM run from TomEdShow.com. So let's just rattle through these charts. So rain in the north and west. A band of rain comes across the country let's go back to that. So band of rain comes across the country as we go through like Wednesday into Thursday. Then, like, rain's coming and going, so regular pulses of rain, particularly always in the west and the north, sometimes getting through into south and southeast, for there's a more clear-cut trend to drier weather for southern and eastern areas. And still, you know, quite wet and windy as we move up towards day 10 down in the south, eventually turning a little bit colder from the northwest. Very changeable-looking charts, these. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 20th of November. Have 26 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure through the country and into northern Europe. Low pressure away to the northwest. Jet streams push northwards. So we're looking mostly dry with that. And yeah, mostly dry up to day 10 with that option, although there will be rain at times in the northwest. And 25 have high pressure just to our southwest, bringing the wind from like a west-northwesterly type direction, something like that. Nothing over dramatic showing up there. In 2 weeks time, these are the options that we got. This is 25th of November. There's more of them, perhaps indicating a little bit of a pattern change. So 11 members of the ECM ensembles have a ridge over and to the northwest of the country. Could be bringing in, still mainly dry, but could be bringing in cooler or colder air from the northwest. 10 with low pressure in from the north and in come the westerlies. They're going to be unsettled. Another 10 with high pressure to our southwest, low pressure to our northeast. And winds are coming in from a west to northwesterly direction with that one. Probably quite mild with that one, actually. 9 with a trough of low pressure somewhere near Denmark and high pressure out in the middle of the Atlantic could combine to pull in a cold northerly wind. 7 with high pressure over Scandinavia and to our northwest. So that's a more anti-cyclonic and possibly slightly colder scenario, as we could be bringing in the air off the continent. And then 4, just looking very, very unsettled, low pressure in control with those 4. So wet and unsettled there. CFSV2 looks like this. So it's a 500 millibar heights broken down into week pairs. The first week pair takes from the 10th to the 16th of November. The coming week has above average heights to our east, below average heights to our west. Winds are coming up from the south, so going to be mild, perhaps very mild, and a reasonable amount of dry weather, particularly for eastern areas. Week 2 is the 17th to 23rd of November, still looking mild, high pressure to our east and south, low pressure to our northwest, winds are in from a southwesterly direction, so yes, still mild with that, wettest weather in the northwest, driest weather in the south and east. Week 3 is the 24th to the 30th of November, placing high pressure more or less over top of the country, so that's going to be dry, obviously, and despite the fact that we're on the mild side of the jet stream's to our north, could be starting to turn colder with a risk of frost and fog. And then week 4 is the 1st to the 7th of November with high pressure then over the country still, but perhaps moving a little bit more towards the west-northwest. Trough of low pressure into northern Scandinavia could just be hinting, maybe, possibly, at a bit of retrogression, and taking the high pressure out into the middle of the North Atlantic, possibly starting to pull something colder down from the north, possibly. I wouldn't want to go too over top with that yet, but it might be an indication that that could be where things are going into the early part of December. We shall see, time will tell. Right, so just to say that if you're enjoying videos at the moment, please can you click like, don't forget to subscribe to the GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. Tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids too, and that's absolutely fantastic, and let us know in the comments what you think. We are grinding now to 9k subs, although haven't quite finished with the 8k giveaway yet, because tomorrow we are going to give away another voucher, another Amazon voucher worth £30 to celebrate that we reached 8k subs. It all went a little bit wrong in Sunday's live stream, so we're going to give another voucher away to make up for it on tomorrow's live stream, Wednesday's live stream. So that's it then. Right, so tomorrow, so just say what's going on tomorrow. We're going to have the USA forecast. So just one upload tomorrow, USA forecast, and there'll be live streaming from 6 o'clock. We're going to show you everything that we were showing a normal 10 to 14 dayer, such as we've just done now. We'll show you all of that in the live stream tomorrow, and we'll look at a little bit of long range stuff as well. I'm sure ECMWF weeks 5 and 6 data. And of course, as I say, we'll be giving away another £30 Amazon voucher to celebrate the fact that we have reached 8k subs, and also, I suppose, to you know, mark the start of the grind to 9k subs, perhaps. So I'll see you live from 6 o'clock tomorrow, but USA forecast before then. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.